And it goes like this: shall we, that is to say, shall we go on extending the blessings of civilization to the people that sit in darkness? Or shall we give those poor things a rest? She had a wonderful way of clearly stating something and then putting it in a down-to-earth phrase that anybody could understand. Or shall we give those poor things a rest? Shall we commit the new century to the, shall we, wait a minute, I have to start over again. Or shall we give those poor things a rest? Shall we bang right ahead? Shall we bang right ahead in our old-time pious way and commit the new century to the game? Or shall we sober up and sit down and think it over first? What could be clearer than that? Would it not be prudent to get our civilization tools together and take stock of what is left in the way of glass beads and hymn books and torches of progress and enlightenment, and balance the books and arrive at the profit and loss? What an image. What an image. You don't have to go to Harvard to get it.
Oh.
Yeah, the people that sit in dark, extending the blessings of civilization to the people that sit in darkness. It's been a good game and has paid well on the whole, and there's money in it yet, if carefully worked. But not enough, in my judgment, to make any considerable risk advisable. The people that sit in darkness are getting to be scarce and shy. And such darkness as there is left is really of but an indifferent quality, not quite dark enough for the game. Most of those people that sit in darkness have been furnished with more light than was good for them or profitable for us. I mean, think of the electronic world we live in, and profitable for us. The people that sit in darkness are getting to be suspicious of the blessings of civilization. More than that, they've begun to examine them. Just let a very long pause go by in the show after that, and let the audience sit with that, because you can never change anybody's mind. I learned that a long time ago, and it's really stupid to try to think you can. There are those people out there trying to thinking they're doing it, but they're not.
No.
They're just preaching to the people who agree with them. Like that guy Bill Lahr or Lahr, whatever, you know, I watch him on his sometimes HBO, and I think to him, Bill, for heaven's sakes, do you realize that nobody's listening to you except the people who agree with you?
That's funny.
Calm down and cool off a little if you want to, you know. And, but, you know, Twain is able to make people, you know, even for a moment, think, oh, I never thought of that. Well, I don't want to think of that, but they do, for a moment, a door opens.
And I guess because of his status, his celebrated status, people would listen.
Yeah, they will.
Or at least...
Yeah.
But he also had to have the ability to communicate, which he obviously did.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
And they don't resent him.
Yeah.
I learned that early on, that they don't resent him because everybody in America somehow feels they own him, you know? And I learned when I first started doing this, I started doing 1954. It was, you know, 56 years ago. I've done it every year since. And when I started touring, after a couple of years, I started touring in the South. I mean, I toured all over the country from coast to coast, but I would every year go south. And I would play in every southern state there, the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. And then as we got into, I mean, I played Little Rock a couple months after the beginning of the Civil Rights in 1956 in Central High School. And I was doing So I mean, in developing I was developing this show. I was learning about Twain. I knew nothing about Mark Twain. I was buying these books at Argosy Bookstore on 59th Street. You know, the old books secondhand, and I was reading all this stuff, and I couldn't believe it. And I was putting stuff into the show, which talked about racism in a pretty frontal manner, because he's, you know, he just lays it down.
So how were you received in the South?
That was the extraordinary thing. See, that's what I mean. If I wasn't being Mark Twain, I could have been. Yeah, I could have. I mean, I had some pretty close calls, you know, down there.
Ooh.
I mean, I played Philadelphia, Mississippi, where the boys are buried in the dam.